Hi.
How are you today?
Okay, how are you?
Good.
Good. My I think the light's shining through the windows too much from my back.
I have that issue a lot with because my office faces west, and so even though I have one of those light filtering shades on the window,
Oh.
when it's sunset, like during one of our board meetings, I always get these awful, glares all over my face, and I can't see, but it only lasts a while, and then the sun goes down.
I know I end up moving my location a lot.
Yeah.
And then I just got to the point it's like this is it. Sorry.
Yeah, I like to do it at my desk because everything's here that I might need. Good
Yeah.
morning, Joe. Good morning, Sonia.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Newport 60. Oops, what's this? Oh, no. I turn off my phone. That's not polite. Interrupt you guys. Usually I don't have it on. Okay, there. And here comes Robbie. Now, Sonia, you're from Newport?
Yes, and that was my job title, Newport. I'm with this Newport. It's a senior center here.
I know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to live in Newport.
Oh,
I moved here to Cottage Grove about 7 years ago. Still
okay.
feel like a newcomer over there because I lived in Newport for since dirt was invented.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't realize that. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you knew Peggy O'Callahan, I took her position.
Okay. Hi,
Hi,
Rose.
Rose.
Good morning.
And Robbie's there from Lakeview. Let's see, I gotta make sure I allow other people in. 10 o'clock. Close a bunch of other meeting windows so that I don't interfere. Huh. What's everybody up to?
Rose is our bright, shining president-elect from the Sweet Home Rotary Club.
Oh, thank you for introducing her. I was going to ask
Oh.
who you were because I didn't recognize you.
Thank you. Yes.
President-elect. Are
New
you
adventures.
ready?
Yeah.
Huh?
New adventures.
Yes.
Following in some big footsteps, though.
Well, that's it. It's fun to be president and put your little stamp on your club. Bring your own little piece of passion to it, and see what kind of a difference you can make.
Rose, I'm also president-elect. I'm so excited that we've got a great year ahead of us too, I think.
I think so.
Are you
too.
still at the Elks, Sonia?
Yes. Yeah, we just
saw
went
that
back
eye
to
roll.
we just went back to in-person meetings on Thursday. I just met with Julie Hanrahan yesterday. We're talking. That was kind of one of the topics of conversation.
Right. Okay. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Thanks again for coming to our meeting last Thursday.
You bet. I loved it, except for the hour.
Yeah, we're early birds.
You guys are early birds. Good morning, Marv.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are things on the other side of the mountains?
Today it's pretty nice. We actually drove to Portland Sunday and came back yesterday. So coming back wasn't bad. Going over was a little icy.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are used to it. We live on the east side. We see in the valley, we see a little bit of ice and everybody freaks out. Same with on the coast.
Well, there was supposed to be 7 to 14 inches of snow there Sunday night. So we were playing it by ear until about 9 o'clock Sunday morning. And then we said, well, it's not that bad. Let's go.
Uh-huh. Okay. I'm going to give it another minute. Kind of a skimpy crowd today. I don't know if surveys are a less than exciting topic, but I'm fascinated.
Me too.
It's surprisingly a really busy time of year. This week,
Yeah.
all of a sudden has exploded on me. I can't believe it.
Well, daylight savings time helped, huh?
Yeah.
Always gives me a little extra spring in my step, pardon the pun. But I love it. Although it's kind of dark when I get up, but that'll pass,
But it's nice to stay light when you're done with work in the evening too.
isn't it? Yeah, you have an hour or so of something you can do. Okay, well, let's get started and we'll let anybody in that is a straggler, but I don't want to take your time since you were here on time. We're going to talk about surveys today, and the obvious thing is why do them? Because we want to know what our members think. I want to get you out of Rotary for a minute and think about the last time you were on the phone with customer service at your internet provider or customer service with any other provider, and then they have this canned little message that says, would you be so kind as to stay on the line afterwards and answer a few short questions, or they email you a few short questions. What did you love about that? No, let's not even talk about that. What did you not love about that? What was your experience in those kinds of things that make you feel the way you do about surveys? I'm going to put you into some breakout rooms just for about 5 minutes, because it shouldn't take us too long to answer that. Let's see, I'll do two breakout rooms. Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes to talk about what did you not like about surveys? What about those surveys drive you crazy? Laura, we're talking about what about surveys drive you crazy when you get a customer service survey from somebody. So I just put you in a breakout room.
Oh,
So you should get an invite to it. There you go. Okay.
Well, hi there.
Well, good morning. I was wondering who Rotary District 5110 is. That's me. I need to change my name too. I'm gonna close we're in breakout rooms and I
Okay.
asked the question to everybody, last time you were on a customer service call with an internet company and they say, would you mind doing a short survey? Or when you get an email request for a short survey, how do you feel about it? What do you hate about it? So that's what everybody's talking about. I'm gonna stop the breakout rooms now. Close all rooms, because that takes a minute, and then now I can change my name too. Okay. Here we go. And here we come. We picked up Jim Polk.
Hey,
Good morning.
You just never know who's gonna show up.
We learned the value of the mute button.
Now, nobody mutes in these meetings. It's kind of like a free-for-all. But I want to hear, oh, here comes somebody, admit. Jerry Jareb, who's he? Or, yeah, I think it's a he. Good morning, Jerry. Can't say anything because you're still muted.
I don't know what the purchase price is. Is it 375 or is it
Oh, when you
401?
get it.
Oh,
You know,
I'm gonna mute you,
and
Laura.
go up.
Okay.
All righty.
wish you had done that when when we were having our room discussion.
She's not, I gotta school her on the tech situation. She's probably not realizing it.
Yeah, or new to it.
Okay. Now, is everybody back? Quite a few people are back. So let's say that everybody's back, shall we? I'm always afraid to close that breakout room button because one time I did that and I ended the whole meeting for everybody. Everybody had to log back on. It was like, oh, so now I'm afraid to do it at all. Let's see, what did you hear from your group? Joe, I'll start with you.
I'm afraid I talked. Couldn't hear Laura when I was speaking, so I probably monopolized it. I think Sonia or someone made a point that it's important for people who are going to respond to trust the person who's doing the questioning, and so we need to feel comfortable as respondents that our input will be used respectfully. There won't be private information that's shared inappropriately. And I think we mentioned that the person asking the questions has to really earn our trust. And make us feel like there's really going to be feedback or some follow-up later that's going to benefit the group and a benefit to us as well, and not just the corporate bottom line.
Very good. Hey, Rose, what did I see you, Mimi? I'll get back to you. Rose, what did your group talk about?
We talked about it really depends upon who is asking, you know, whether, and it, you know, we didn't talk about the trust issue, but we did talk about, you know, it all depends upon who's asking, whether or not we will fulfill and go through with a questionnaire.
Mimi, you had your hand up?
Thank you, Christine. In what I was trying to say that we did one recently through SurveyMonkey. What's nice about that is it is private. You don't know where it's coming from. And so what we did in follow-up is I made sure every member got the same thing that SurveyMonkey gave us as far as what everybody voted on. And then in responding to it, I'd always make a point of saying, you spoke and we listened. And then say, and so now we're going to do it this way, you know, that type of thing. So it just acts as a reminder that this came from them and we are listening. But I do have a question. What is considered a good response on a survey?
I'm gonna cover, I have an introduction to the
Okay.
topic. I just wanted to give you guys a chance to vent because I knew you were gonna do it anyway, so might as well. Marv just put in the chat, what, does anybody have experience with surveys through Google? I don't. I always use SurveyMonkey. You know, I don't know, that's the devil I know. And Sonia, what did your group talk about?
Well, I was with Joe and Mimi, and I have to say, Joe kicked it off and exactly with what I was thinking, which is that when you're asked to do a survey, it feels like an intrusion of your time, and that is typically, and unless I'm like really excited for some reason to give that feedback, I will often say no, unless there's some reason that experience that was extremely good or extremely bad.
Okay, very good. I'm going to go ahead and kick into the presentation I have now. It's really long-winded. It'll probably go on for an hour and a half. I have a slide deck. It's about 100 slides. No, I have about 7 slides to share. So hopefully, all I want to do is introduce the topic to you. Let's see. And all I have to do is remember what I'm doing. Slideshow. Yeah. And start. Wait a minute. What am I doing? There we go. From the beginning. And make it big. Now, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I couldn't hear you. All right. This is one of the 7 slides. So it shouldn't be too bad, but we're here to talk about surveys. What's the good, the bad, the ugly? What makes them work and what makes them not work? Well, you talked about a few things that make them not work. Where am I? Go. There we go. When a member sees a survey coming, or when you see a survey like a request from a customer service agency, the things you fear, are they going to take too much time? Have you ever been to the bottom of page 1 and they say, scroll or click here for page 2 and you have no idea how many pages there are and you start worrying. What are they going, they're not being respectful of my time. I was talking to a bank in town here about their customer service surveys, or no, their employee satisfaction surveys. And the employee told me that the questions are the same every year. Are your questions the same every year? She said, yeah, they're the same every year, and they just rubber stamp whatever because it's, you feel like nobody's listening. She said they never heard any results. And Mimi talked about that, we do hear you. We understand what you're saying. The final thing though, were there any changes? Did the membership see any changes because of this? Like Joe said, we're asking for their time. Their time is valuable. Are they getting anything out of it? Is there any change coming? And then there's the how many responses are normal. Well, if you Google it, they say 20 to 30% are normal. I don't think that's very good. They said you should worry if you only get 10%. I think that's horrible. I'd like to see us get 50 or 60%. There's a good percentage of that you're just not going to get. But the better the percentage of your responses, the better. Was that deep or what? First of all, what's your purpose for writing this survey? And sometimes people tell me, my purpose is to find out everything I need to know what the members are thinking. Well, right there, they're going to ask 87 questions because their purpose is way too broad. It's good to have a brief cover email that goes along with your survey that explains how long it's going to take, how many questions there are, and what your purpose is. And when I say a brief survey, I was bragging to one of our members in my club, and I was telling her, we only have 9 questions, and we tell people it only takes 3 minutes to answer this survey. And I was so proud of myself because I thought I was doing a great job. And she says, I wouldn't answer that. If it takes any more than a minute, I'm not doing it. She was a young professional and being very truthful with me. I needed to hear that. Something to think about. Really narrow down your purpose. So then I asked SurveyMonkey, what do they, recommend? Well, don't ask too many questions. Number 1. Boy, that's a tough one. Ask closed-ended questions. You can't get good results when you ask essay questions. Then you've got to compile all the essay answers and dig through them to try to find out what the people think. Don't ask leading questions. What do you think of our wonderful lunch meetings? No, don't do that. Make sure that you ask 1 question per question. Sometimes clubs will try to fit a bunch of questions into 1 question, so they only say they're asking 1 question, like, what do you think of our format and our lunch meetings? Well, what do you want to know? Lunch, the format, the Pledge of Allegiance? What are you asking? And use a consistent rating scale. So those are the real simple things that SurveyMonkey says. Don't ask too many, ask closed-ended, meaning yes, no answers, rate 1 to 5 answers. Those are closed-ended. Don't ask leading questions that have an answer built into it, the one that you want to hear. Somebody in one of your breakout rooms said they always set up the surveys to congratulate themselves on how good they are. We tend to do that too. We want to hear positive feedback. We don't want to hear people are unhappy. We need to hear it when people are unhappy. Ask 1 question per question and use a consistent rating scale. Then the other thing that I think is really important is when you send out your survey, you want to time it right. Don't do it on a Friday afternoon at 4:30. Guess what? By Monday morning, they're going to be too busy to even look at it. So they say that mid-mornings and mid-afternoons are the best time to send out surveys. This goes for important emails too. Do you notice that I send out the email for these forums at 10 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and never on a, well, actually, that's not true. I do send them out on Mondays because our forum's on Tuesday. But I try to send surveys out midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you're not on a Monday, they're not dealing with Monday, they're not dealing with Friday. And totally avoid holiday weeks, because then you get 4 days crammed in, 5 days crammed into 4 days, and they don't have time to be dealing with your questions. Some people think about incentivizing surveys. What do they get if they fill out your survey? You're actually paying them for their time, and that might be a free lunch or some added little bonus, a pin, a kudo in the newsletter. It can still stay anonymous, but if you incentivized it in some ways, that might be something to think about. I've never tried it, but there's something to talk about there. Here's a wild idea for you. What if we did a survey every month instead of the old annual survey? What if we asked 1 question every month? We reviewed the results like Mimi talked about and said, we heard you, and then we changed something. What would that be telling our membership? We heard you, we listened, look at the change we're doing. And that would keep us to that one idea. So that's my wild idea for you. And I think that's the end of the slideshow. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to go back and break you up again and have you, with the idea of those thoughts in mind, share your own experiences. I know Marv has had some really good experiences with his surveys. And so Marv, why don't I start out with you before I break them into breakout rooms, and give us your wisdom, because you've got some, and unmute yourself before you do it.
Okay, I don't know how much wisdom it is, but I have a problem basically with a closed-ended question. I know that's good, but what's the reason you're sending out the questionnaire or the survey? Sometimes the closed-ended is good, but if we're trying to find out what we're not doing for each of the members, is the club meeting the club's obligation to you to fulfill your passion for community service, that would be hard sending a closed-end question, because there are maybe 20 things that a person could be interested in, and you don't want to have all 20 things there. So I think if you split the survey up for having quick answers and use that at the beginning of the survey, and then at the end, be more specific as to what they want to see. A perfect example is that we didn't have an avenue for the homeless, and there were 3 people that really wanted to have a project for our club. So we said, go off, do your other thing, and then come back to the board. What's happened is it has morphed into something much larger than our club. In fact, there'll be a meeting on the 29th of March that every major organization dealing with homeless is going to be meeting together. So I suggested to the committee when that happens, you're going to have to let other people take the reins of that, but find out where the club can fit in and what we can do. So that's all.
I like what you said. And when you're looking for just general ideas of their brainstorming, what aren't we doing for you? What else do we need to think about? That's a good thing to put in there. So I like what you said. Any other comments before we break out into breakout rooms and let you have some general discussion? We'll have about 15 minutes on this one so that you can get into what could work, what would work better for your club surveys. How are you going to feel the pulse of what your members are thinking, which is the whole reason for doing this exercise, and how do you make it effective in the fact that you let your membership know that you listened and you change something, you do something with the information, like Marv did with his homeless, that grew into a bigger project than 3 people, it sounds like. Anybody, Joe?
Yeah, one of the things I was hoping we'd get, or at least be able to touch on a little bit, is something that I always emphasize with my president-elects as an assistant governor. The club leadership needs to be giving club members an opportunity to speak up from time to time about the direction of the club. But as you know, there are all kinds of processes. We could have, I like the idea of asking one question at a meeting, maybe every month, and following up on that. That would serve one purpose. But, you know, we've got district leadership who are committed to helping us with visioning sessions. Mm-hmm. And that's a totally different idea than just doing a health check. And then you can scale it on down and narrow the focus. And so again, I always again kind of get lost trying to help my PEs figure out, well, if they're going to get feedback from the club, exactly what tools should they use and how should they go about it, because there are so many options.
Yeah, we're focusing on surveys now, but you know, you're right, Joe. You can take a survey question, one thing you want to know, and make a club forum about it at a meeting, and then have the members debrief what what they each chatted about at their table, especially since we're starting to be able to sit at tables again. But one thing that I know that our members love to do is talk. So if we give them the opportunity to talk to each other in a table setting and then review with the entire membership what they got out of that, I think number one, that's great. And number two, we still have to go back and follow up on it. We have to change something. We have to do something. Marv's got his hand up.
It's a couple things that Christine said and also Joe that gave me an idea. We did a vision process 4 years ago. And we had almost 20 people in that vision session for, well, a good portion of the morning. It was basically from about 8:30 to 1:30. And we review that once a year. So maybe in your cover letter, Christine, that, you know, we did this vision 4.5 years ago, and we give an update every year. And because of it, the club has made many changes. So we thought we're going to do this on a mini version, and that's why we're sending out this survey. Okay, because our club has met every goal for that vision set except one, because at the time we were 32 members and we wanted to be at 75. We're 5 members away right now, and we have 1 more year to go.
Oh, I see Jim Polk just wrote, Google survey work, just have to learn the platform. Discussion of the district closing its SurveyMonkey license, which was $384 a year, as the assigned user must give permission for someone else to run the survey. Jim, do you want to elaborate on that before we break?
Well, it was just kind of in a response to the question about it. Some of the in the DG line have used the Google survey capability and like it. I mean, it is a learning process. You got to learn it to be able to use it. But with Google, if you have Chrome, you have Google Survey. You don't have to have an individual license, because right now, if somebody in the district wants to run a SurveyMonkey survey, the assigned user that we pay for has to give them permission or the authorization code to load the survey, which that's the DG. And if the DG's out and traveling, you might not get a response for 2 or 3 days. And if you really want a survey, how are you going to get it done? So we're talking about it. I don't know how long it will be before that decision is reached, but it's being discussed.
I know with SurveyMonkey, if you have the free version, which there is one, there's a limit on how many responses you can get, which is a little bit of a hassle. Marv, you have your hand up again, or is it from leftover?
Yes and yes, it is left over, but is it possible to have some sort of training on Google survey from somebody that knows how to use it?
Probably.
I will run it past the training team, and maybe we can gin up a quickie session at CTA or thereafter.
That would be nice. I imagine it's pretty, Google stuff is pretty. I'm working with a client that half of their employees are Spanish speakers. And so I had a whole list of words that mean whatever I was talking about in English that I needed translating. Do you know you could put those on a Google spreadsheet and go put a formula in the Google spreadsheet that says, Google translate this word from English to Spanish, and then you can copy it all the way down the whole list, and all of a sudden the whole list is translated. And it was like, took me about 5 minutes to do something that I thought I was going to have to take 3 hours for. So that was pretty cool. Anyway, and I figured it out. So yeah, I mean, that tells you right there how simple it is. I'm going to break you into rooms so that you can have some more intimate discussion about this. Let's see, let's do 3 rooms so that try to let everybody have a chance to talk. Add a room, and have somebody be
Go 2.
huh?
Go 2 rooms. Otherwise, you're going to have 2 people in 1 room because you can't go to a room.
Oh, I see. Okay,
all
I'll
of
just
us.
do, I gotcha. Okay, if we're
9.
forget it. Okay, delete room 3. Here you go. Thanks, Jim. Bail me out. And Jim's not assigned, so let's see. I'm going to put you in room 2. Good girl. Now, check again on this one. You want to go to the grocery store and sit in a parking lot? Oh, doesn't that sound like more fun than you could believe? Maybe we could go on a walk around the water. We could. That would be fun. We could go on another place too. I got some other ideas. You've been to Pointer Park. But there's another part of Route River. We could go by that. That would be fun. Yeah, we could. They got geese there. Got geese and ducks and stuff. You could look at those guys. Yeah, that would be kind of fun. Mhm. Okay. Here's what's left. Quick summary from each group, and then I'm gonna share my screen. I found the place on my Rotary that has all kinds of survey information and assessment information for you to check out.
Christine, Joe sent me that survey, so I have it up if you want me to show it.
Which one is that? Because Marvin, they have a whole bunch of different ones that might suit different members better.
It's called Enhancing the Club Experience.
Okay. Meanwhile, anything you want to talk about from, oh, I see it. Yeah, see, they've got a lot of them, and I'll go ahead and show that when but I want to hear your review first from what you chatted about. Okay, Jill, I'm picking on you.
Okay. All right, so Marv wanted me to mention one point that I brought up was the fact that I think the closed-end questions are great to pin down a concise survey, but I think we also need to offer an open-ended question to the members so that they can delve a little bit more into their personal experiences and wants and needs, because oftentimes it might not be true or false. It might not be a 3 compared to a 5. You might have to express yourself. So that's my thoughts on that. We talked about the idea of, really like the idea of making it just for them. You know, make them feel that this survey is just for them. No constraints, you know, no answer is bad. We just want to hear how you feel.
True. And Jim, I haven't picked on you since you just joined late. So what makes you think that Jim is our, I was gonna say, governor-elect nominee or something? I'm sorry.
Just the nominee, just the nominee. Well, I mean, we discussed it, the idea of, single but formalizing them rather than just an in-person type thing gives you a better result for a wrap-up. We all struggle with the pluses and minuses of the dilemma we face, and how do we keep the long-term Rotarians involved if you want to make a change, if they threaten to leave, or the short-termers, the newcomers that haven't fully bought in yet. If you make a change, are they going to walk out the door? And at what time do you cut your losses and say, well, bye, we're going to proceed on with this way because that's what the majority wants?
Yeah, sometimes you have to be prepared to react. You know, you might get an answer that you weren't ready for. They always say for attorneys, never ask a question unless you know the answer. Well, you might be surprised. But you know what? As leaders of our Rotary clubs, we do need to know. And that information is really important. I'm going to take the last few minutes here and share my screen because I found something on Rotary International that you can find too. You go to My Rotary. Can you see this? I got to make it bigger. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. And this is under membership. Okay. So they give you lots of ways that you can assess your club and engage current members, all kinds of things. Now there are assessments, and one of them was what Marv was talking about, enhancing your club, which is a member satisfaction survey. So let's take a look at that. You can kind of poke around these things. And I think that's a PNG. No, that's not going to be right.
Yeah,
Here we
that
go.
was a PNG. There it is.
That's me. Never mind, I gotta get rid of this. Okay. So is this look right, Marv?
Yes.
Um, so it talks about what you want as an outcome, how to get yourself organized. Now, let's see how many questions they're asking. You know what I think I'm going to do is I'll email this out to you tomorrow because my internet connection is not Speedy Gonzales. I live in a rural area, and so I'm not able to move around very smoothly. But anyway, just know that if you go to Rotary International, go to My Rotary, I found this. Let's see if I can back up once. I don't know, it's going to take it for 100 years. I found this under manage, I think. Might have been learning and reference. And then club administration. Yeah,
Chris, there are six questions.
thank you.
Okay.
Marv, you want me to make you co-host and you can try sharing your screen? I thought this would be faster, but it sure isn't.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you're a co-host.
Okay.
And I'm going to stop my share. There you go. Oh, you got a better connection. Look at you.
Okay. So this is the first page of the questionnaire. Then this. So it gives them a chance to just be short and sweet with this. And then if they want to be more personable and things that they want to talk about. So if you use this as a base,
Uh-huh.
it might be good for you to use.
Nice, standardized, agree to disagree responses, which is one of the things that SurveyMonkey mentioned.
And that's,
Some interesting questions.
Yeah, and you can pull the things that fit for what you want to find out from your
Right.
membership out of these. And this was only one of the options on Rotary International. So if you need a My Rotary account, which you probably all have one,
Yes.
or you can set one up. So thanks, Marv.
Yeah.
That was much quicker
Yeah.
than mine. So it is 11 o'clock. Next month, I think we're going to kind of stay on this vein. We're going to talk about club communication. How do we communicate with our members? That's going to cover things like your newsletter, if you have one. Some do, some don't. Maybe a Facebook page. Some do, some don't. Your website. So we're going to cover all kinds of things about communication. So I hope you come with ideas, challenges, and solutions so that we can share those kinds of things. But other than that, I'm a minute over. I'm going to let you go and have your busy day. So,
Hi, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Christine.